I assume almost all of you guys that are tuning into this video have asked this question before. I don't know what budgeting app to pick. There's too many of them. That's not exactly a question. There's so much, but you can go to a website like Forbes, for example, the best budgeting apps 2025 from Forbes, featured partner offer. And you can see that some of these are put up to the front based on the fact that they were just sponsored. So, how do you really figure out which one to use? Well, funny enough, even though I was just saying that there's, advertiser disclosure and the fact that there are sponsored softwares on here, that doesn't get away from the fact that these are still 27 popular budgeting apps that were evaluated. These have been thoroughly evaluated. That's nothing to scoff at. So, still, this can be your starting point. They have a summary at the bottom of the website. All right, this is what comes first. This is basically just the Google search and just the summarized version. It's as if you went to ChatGPT and said, tell me some of the most popular and common budgeting apps. First thing I'd consider, especially if you're kind of like me, either early into your career or a college student, how much is it going to cost? Do I want to be spending $109 a year for YNAB, or do you want a free version? All right, so let's say you decided to go, I want a free one. I don't want to be spending any money. I want a free budgeting software. I know a couple off the top of my head. Two of them are right here, Empower Personal Dashboard and Credit Karma. These are great free versions of a budgeting app, but they're different depending on what you want to do. So again, the main question of this video is there are so many to choose from. Which one do I pick? And more specifically, how do I pick it? Well, we covered price. What's next? Well, personally, what's next is visuals. So if we go to Quicken, wow, I really like these visuals. I love how they're all shaded. I love how they're colored. I love how the numbers are lining up. Great. Okay. So if this is something we like, I like how the network is visualized. I love how my spending is in that pie chart. Cool. Dive into it. So while we're still on the topic of visuals, there's other apps that weren't even in that Forbes Best Budgeting Apps of 2025. One that Apple users absolutely love and one I've personally used before is Copilot Money. This one's extremely visually pleasing. You have everything you need, but you have to worry about also how much does it cost. So it's always going back to that one and two. Now let's move on to number three. Now, number three is probably the most important as a function standpoint because it's the features. If you go to any of these websites, you'll see that they all have different features. They're all similar, but they all have some sort of gimmick. For example, Monarch Money has this flex budget. So is this something that helps you? Monarch Money has forecasts, which I find extremely helpful. If I know I have an expense coming up, I can budget for that months in advance. I can throw it in there and I can work around that. There are oftentimes you might be curious about a product and you don't get too much information. Like, okay, I'm curious about the Empower Personal Dashboard. It sounds awesome because I really want to track my net worth. But I go to their website and all I see are a couple of visuals. I mean, that looks great. I mean, if I get really close, yeah, okay. So it looks like, yeah, okay. So I see some graphs in there. It looks complex, though. All right. Well, you're already here. Go to YouTube. There's so many videos where you can see other people using it. In fact, on this channel, I'll show off ways of using it and how I personally would use it with a setup account. Each one of these apps that can be on these lists has something different. So it's up to you to do the research. Figure out the price you want to spend, figure out which one looks visually pleasing to you, and then finally, figure out which one has the features that best fit you. Now, I'd say as one last bonus tip that kind of goes under tip number one is look for discount codes and extended free trials. I know Quicken simplifies looking at 33% off as a time of recording this. Same with Monarch Money at 30%. But I think I saw one that said if you type in code Monarch VIP, that's 50%. But then on top of that, my referral code to Monarch, instead of a 7-day free trial, it's a 30-day free trial. See what bonuses you can get. See if you can get any discounts, any extended free trials, anything like that, and leverage those. So yeah, those are my three big tips for picking your budgeting app. First, figure out what price you want to pay. Second, figure out which of the ones within that price category are visually appealing to you. And third, pick the budgeting app that has the features that you want. Finding a budgeting app that works for you is the most important part. I can recommend one or another, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. And the whole point of this channel and this community is not trying to get you into one specific section, one specific app. It's just teaching you what's out there, how I can help you in any way. That's all this is. So go find a budgeting app that works for you and then tune back in and I'll show you how you can use it.